Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for.
I hate to say it, the black cloud of college basketball right now, it is the Arkansas Razorbacks and John Calipari. And so I'm gonna put all my cards on the table because I want to be transparent and I don't want to lie and I don't want to sugarcoat it. And I know people are going to get in the comments, Torres, you and your big invasion. Listen, there were a lot of things that I thought when John Calipari left for Arkansas. And we're going to get into all of them in a minute. But I can't sit here and lie. I did like them in the preseason. I did like this roster. Yeah, I did pick them to go to the Final Four. I'm a freaking idiot. I think it's pretty safe to say that that is not going to happen. Because on Saturday, Arkansas came into their game 11-6, 0-4 in the SEC. Arkansas had never started 0-5 in SEC play until this season. So basically, Arkansas joined the SEC in the early 90s. They had never started 0-5 in SEC play. Well, they get smoked by Missouri. I think the final score was like 83-63, maybe something like that. But Missouri goes in. Missouri gets the statement win, and it was ugly for Arkansas. 83-65, by the way, was the final score. So listen, as far as this game is concerned, a couple things. One, it's funny. Like, first of all, I go back to a week ago, and we pulled up that stat a week ago of, something to what was the stat was that Arkansas only had a quote-unquote 10% chance of getting an at-large bid at this point in the season. And I said, look, they have no bad losses, whatever. But I did say a week ago, you have to beat LSU. Like, you just have to beat LSU. They don't beat LSU. And as soon as they didn't beat LSU, I was actually very worried about this game because the one thing about Missouri, I know they went 0-18 in the SEC last year, but Dennis Gates, his teams play hard. They get after you. They defend. They make you uncomfortable. They force a lot of turnovers. And I said, if they don't show up ready to play, this could get ugly early. Well, yeah, I think it got ugly pretty early considering that Arkansas was down 18-2 in this game. And so with the loss, Arkansas falls to 11-7, 0-5 in the SEC. Listen, I could sit here and break down the game. I mean, I think really, in my opinion, Arkansas's troubles are pretty straightforward. And at this point, everybody knows who they are. I'm not going to spend that much time on them here because everybody knows they're not a good team right now. But the issues are obvious. And I think one is obvious and one is being understated. The obvious one, they're not a good three-point shooting team. Yeah, I think we all know that, okay? So Arkansas on the season is just struggling to shoot the three. The crazy part was the LSU game, they actually shot it pretty well. But in the game against Missouri, Arkansas finishes the game shooting 5 of 23 from three, On the season, they are shooting a robust 33%, but that number is deceptive. A lot of those stats came against inferior competition and out-of-conference play. The other issue that I don't think is talked about enough, they're not a good rebounding team. 234th in the country in rebound margin, basically getting about a rebound per game more than the opponents, and that includes all those awful teams that they played in the out-of-conference. And to me, that's the real issue, is it's okay to be a not great three-point shooting team if you're a great rebounding team. Look at Texas A&M. That's basically how Texas A&M plays. They're like, we don't shoot the ball well, but we're going to kill you on the glass, and we're going to play our butts off. And I think that's the disappointing thing about Arkansas. I know they only have, 8-9 scholarship players. I know that was by design for Cal, and I know that I was a guy that defended Cal when he made that decision. I'm not trying to pretend that I didn't say the things that I did. But at the same time, it's not just that they're a bad, it doesn't even feel like I'm just going to use the word. They feel soft. It just feels like a rebound goes up. They're slow to it. They don't get to it. They don't throw it. At some point, somebody has to show some fire on this team. Nobody does. DJ Wagner maybe a little bit. But outside of him, it's like everybody's just going through the motions. Janelle Davis, Jonas Adu. I mean, you go on and on and on down the list. And that, to me, as a guy who's followed Calipari's career, I know a lot of Arkansas fans, you kind of saw him in passing through the years. That's the frustrating thing to me. I remember years ago, I don't think he'll mind me telling this story. I remember having dinner with Matt Jones. This was at the beginning of the Calipari era at Kentucky. And one thing stuck out. I remember him saying, Cal can deal with a lot of things, on the court, off the court, whatever. He cannot deal with you being soft. If you don't show up ready to fight, then he has no use for you. And that's who Cal has always been. And that is not who this team is. And that's the most frustrating part. The size is there. The talent is there. Why does nobody rebound? Why does every loose ball go to the other team? That is on Arkansas. That is on the team. That is on coaching. Now, listen, a couple things. One, it's not all Cal's fault, right? Missing open shots, missing layups. Rebounding is an effort thing. But it does all come back to the head coach, and it does come back to this roster that he's put together. And I'll just be honest. I said this, and it's going to sound crazy, but I was thinking about a lot of different stuff after this loss. And I really do wonder, should John Calipari, after this season, it's going to sound crazy, and I don't think it's what Arkansas fans want, but shouldn't John Calipari consider stepping aside? And I think about what I said after Kentucky's loss to Oakland last year in the NCAA tournament. I remember saying at the time, I said, John Calipari, if he wants to actually protect his legacy at Kentucky, he needs to retire right now. Because the legacy was shot. The fans were mad. But I felt like, if you leave on good terms, whatever, blah, 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 then Arkansas comes through and they offer him the job. And listen, again, I defended the hire at the time. I thought it was a good hire. I thought it was a great hire. And to take it a step further, I remember even saying at the time, I know 2 weeks ago I said that John Calipari should step aside. But if he wants to coach, and if somebody wants to pay him to coach, who am I to say that he shouldn't be allowed to coach? Like that's silly. Like if he wants to coach and somebody wants to pay him to do it, why shouldn't he be allowed to do it? But I look at this situation. It's really bad. They're 11-7. There's just too many tough games. I mean, I don't think it's surprising that I say they're not a tournament team. They're not a tournament team. And maybe they go on this incredible run. They got whatever. So they're 11-7 right now. That's 18 games in. So they got 13 games left. Yeah, maybe they go whatever. I don't know. What would you need to 9-3 get you to 20-11? I don't know. Not great at math. It's 10:30 in the morning here, and I did radio till whatever. Maybe they go on a miracle run. But I don't think it's going to happen. Not with this schedule. Too many tough games in the SEC. You still have to go to Kentucky. We all know about that one. You still have to go to Auburn. You still have to have Alabama at home. There's not a lot of easy games in this league. And so I look at him. I look at his future. And why I say that, why I say I think he should at least consider, let me just explain my thought process here. One is because there is the legacy component to it, right? And I think about Cal. We could criticize Cal for whatever. In his prime, he was phenomenal, though. In his prime, he did make 4 Final Fours in 5 years at Kentucky. In his prime, he was an innovator that made everyone in college basketball change. And every single game that he goes deeper and deeper into this, if he doesn't turn this thing around quick, it is a direct indictment on that legacy. Yes, we're going to remember the great days. We're also going to be like, oh, remember that time at Arkansas? Like, listen, what are some things? People still talk about MJ on the Wizards. People still talk about Willie Mays on the Mets. Now, granted, I think most people are like, well, MJ was still the greatest player we've ever seen with the Bulls, but we do acknowledge the Wizards years, and we're going to have to acknowledge these Arkansas years, and they could be bad if they don't turn around really quick. And so you have the legacy thing, but here's my other thing, and I was thinking about this, watching his press conference on Saturday. This can't be fun for him. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever do it at this level. And they're a punching bag right now. Arkansas fans will tell you, we are a punching bag right now in college basketball. We are a laughingstock. We are the butt of everyone's joke. Every time that we lose a game, the memes go up and the videos go up and the whatever. And it's like, if you're Calipari, do you want to deal with this? Like, I get that Calipari, I think now in his career is more motivated by helping families, whatever. But you do still have to win games, and he's not winning very much. And it can't be fun to be getting your brains beat in every single game without what seemingly has very much hope in sight. So with Calipari, I just wonder what his future is, because it would literally take a miracle at this point to make the NCAA tournament. That's not going to happen. I know they have the great recruiting class coming in with Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas. I know I haven't really spoken with anybody near Malik Thomas, but I know Acuff is still thrilled to play for Calipari, all that stuff. But it's just like, man, oh man, like if you're Cal, this just can't be fun. Like you used to walk into people's arenas, beat their brains in, and then laugh on your way out. This can't be. I mean, he went into Bud Walton Arena last year. He went into Tennessee last. So maybe there is a tweak, to use Calipari's terms, and maybe I am overselling it because I am the guy that has sold consistently that they won 7 of their final 8 last season. But going into the SEC tournament, it just doesn't feel like it's going to happen.